Today we're going to be upgrading our brake and clutch levers with TWM aluminum levers. These are the same folks that make levers for Brembo, so should be good. Got these from Multimillion in Florida. There was a little bit of a mess up with the order, and they sent me the wrong clutch lever. It wouldn't work on this bike here with the cruise control and the quick shifter. So he had to rush me another clutch lever so that both of those would work. So today what we're going to do is we're going to remove this clutch lever here, unscrew the screw here and take it all out, and then we're going to transfer the little lever underneath, and you're going to see that separately, which will be used to activate the two micro switches. First thing to do is to screw this all the way in so that these slots here are all lined up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to take the lever off. $10mm box wrench underneath here, and a T45 Torx at the top. Unscrew this, take this whole pin out, and then pull the lever out. But you got to be careful that you don't damage the micro switches underneath. The little nut underneath here has a washer as well, so you got to be careful that you don't lose that. See, it just fell down on the floor. Little small washer and a nut. So get that off, set that aside. Now you can pull these out. But I'm going to show you the micro switches from underneath so that you see what I'm talking about as I pull this out. Now the micro switch assembly is right here. So this here lever we'll have to transfer from this original lever onto the new ones so that they can activate these two micro switch tabs here. So to pull this off, we're going to take this screw out and then gently work this outwards, forwards, so that it doesn't bend any of these tabs here. You don't want to do that. And then we're going to take the cable out from this. I'm going to gently pull and work that outwards like that. You can see the little orange switches underneath there. Those are activated when these tabs are pushed down. And that's the micro switches you don't want to bend. So let's go ahead and take this off, take the cable off, secure it to one side, and then resume showing the installation of this on the new levers. When you take the levers out of the package, you'll see they come in two Ziploc bags. This is the clutch, this is the brake. This is the original clutch that we just took off. As you can see, this here is a long lever. This is a shorty lever, and like I said before, Multimillion messed up and sent me, when I ordered the long set, the clutch and the brake lever were long like this. When they sent me the replacement one that would work on my bike, replacement clutch lever, they sent a shorty. Now luckily I don't mind that. I don't mind that asymmetry, because the clutch lever doesn't need to be as long as the brake, as far as I'm concerned. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, take this out, and swap over that little thing here from the original one. The new lever comes with a bushing here that goes into that hole and a screw. This screw is a star point. Star point screw is meant to replace this ridiculous little I guess this is an Allen key, Allen head screw here that's on the original one, but it's the smallest Allen screw that you're going to find. I think it needs a metric 1 Allen key, and I don't have that. So this is going to be the hardest part of this installation, is getting that little screw out. So I had to scrounge around to find something that'll work, and this is a little kit that I bought years ago to take computers apart, laptops and such. It has a screwdriver here, the blue handled one, that will actually do the job. Let me see if I can read the size of this for you. It's a T6 Torx. So let's try taking it off, but we won't take it fully off because I've got to show you. Yeah, there we go. Ha! Success. I thought this job would have been a dead one, but anyway, I won't take it fully off yet, because what I want to show you is how it's going to have to go on to the new one. So now if you look, that post there has got 4 sides, so I suspect that it can only go on 4 ways, right, and 4 angles. And the new one also has 4 sides, so it should hopefully they line up. If not, there's a little nut on the bottom here that I guess could be backed off, and then this here could be twisted into the right orientation. So there's some fine adjustments that have to be made to make sure that the angle with respect to this hole of this little lever here is the same. Now I've got the flat part of the lever pretty much lined up parallel to one another. Okay, so you can see the angle of that one there. So I'm going to take this off. Oh, I moved it, and put it onto this one here. And I'm guessing that they're slightly off. This one here I think is angled more that way, just by eyeballing it, but it could be an optical illusion, who knows. But like I said, this aftermarket TWM lever in a way is better, because this post is adjustable. That there's a lock nut, so I suspect that you can back that off and then turn this post here just ever so slightly one way or the other and get your final proper adjustment. But that has to be done on the bike when this thing is contacting the micro switches. So I'm going to just go ahead, put that screw on, and let's go test fit on the bike. Now I apologize for not filming while I put this lever here onto the bike. The fit in this yoke here is good, and I put the screw in there partially just to hold it in place, because my focus right now is on seeing how this contacts with the micro switches. As you can see, let me screw in the screw a little bit more so I can move the lever. I had to use both hands to put this in so that I don't bend those micro switch tabs. Okay, so that's why I didn't film. But if I move this, looks like it's operating those two. They're lined up just perfectly. So I think just out of the box is probably at the right length and everything. So it's a good piece of engineering. Let me go screw that, put that bolt fully down, put on the nut, put on the washer, and we'll see if we'll turn the bike on and see if it works. The bolt is back in place, and I've tightened up the adjuster here so that there is just 1 millimeter play with the engine cold right here. I can always fine-tune that a little bit later on, but the good news is that underneath here I can see the micro switches are working perfectly. The beauty about these levers is that they're folding and adjustable. The original ones were definitely not folding, and they weren't even adjustable, but this one has got a little bit of an adjustment ability here with that knob. So you turn the knob and it should bring this in closer to the handlebar. And then of course this folds up, but right now it's kind of stiff. I had some levers before were spring loaded up here, that when well, not spring loaded, but it had two detents that you can actually push it up and push it down. But this one here is a little bit stiff, so maybe that's desired, I don't know. But if you fall, you want this to kind of come up and save itself. Good, let's start up the bike. I'm gonna get first gear now. First gear, neutral, second gear. That should be third gear, yeah. Back to first. Back to neutral. The installation of the clutch, the TWM clutch lever is done, and it feels good, feels real nice. Oh, the curvature of this, I should get the original one just to show you what it looks like compared to the original, but the curvature of this is much nicer. And like I said, I don't even have this adjusted. I think it's at its midpoint right now. I don't even have that adjusted. If I want, I can adjust it in a little bit, because my hands aren't the largest, so it's a good feature. Look at the difference in shape. They're approximately in the same position right now, and you can see how that the aftermarket lever is let me have that in the same orientation. The aftermarket lever is actually a little bit further in, closer to the handlebar, just by dint of this shape here. So much nicer. Lining up the pivot points, this is how the original one would have been, like that, compared to the new one. So you can see there's a difference. And then I can even adjust it further in for more comfort. Like I said, it's got this little Italian flag here. One of the things that the Multimillion website says is that you can actually remove that. I don't think I'll remove it, because I mean, I've got Brembo brakes. Brembo is Italian, and this is made by the same company. As a matter of fact, the Brembo levers have that same sticker on there. So probably instead of saying made by TWM, it would say Brembo. And that's the adjuster. Pretty cool, huh? Doesn't look too bad either, and it sits in a bit from the slider, so definitely get some protection there. Now let's tackle the brake side. Now the brake side is fixed by this one bolt here, and there's a nut on the bottom. So I'm going to take that off and bring it inside and compare the TWM with this original one. But you see, in here is what actually activates the hydraulics, and I don't know exactly how that looks. So when we take it out, we'll be able to see how that looks. With the lever off, you can see that this piston, this little prong here, pushes in on the hydraulic fluid, but it goes into that hole. Now there's a hole similar to that on the TWM levers, obviously. We're going to see in a minute, when we look at the two, how it'll fit. But this here can be pulled out and fitted with the piston that, or the little pin that came with the TWM levers. Now the brake lever comes with two sets of instructions here. This pin has to go into that hole, and this is a Teflon, I think that's a Teflon washer that's got to go here, and that's common to both of these sets of installation instructions. That is the pin. It's some sort of let's see, it says there, smear pin with grease specific for seals. So that one is the one that goes into the rubber boot. When we go to the bike, we'll see exactly how that fits. They do say on this little plastic baggie. For levers installation, you go to TWM levers installation on YouTube. Here they are side by side with the holes pretty much aligned, and you can see that those two holes where the piston goes into are pretty much in the same location, and I think that the size is about the same. The size looks to be about the same. So why does it come with an additional one of these? So let me go test fit it on the bike and see. I'm going to put that pin back on, test fit it on the bike and see if it works. There you go. That's the reason why they shipped that additional hydraulic plunger there. You can see there's a sizable difference between the lengths of the two. One thing that concerns me a little bit is the length between that ring and the rubber, where the rubber goes and the plunger, but that shouldn't really matter because the rubber comes out a little bit. So if you look if you line the two plungers up at the heads, then you'll see that the where the rubber would be extended a little bit in on the TWM lever. There it is, all installed. The new piston is in there. That boot comes right off. So I don't see why it's hard to install it. You just push, when you take off the other one, you pull the other one out. It pulls this boot with it, and it comes right out. So you can install the piston around the neck of the boot right here, right there at your leisure off of the bike, and then push the whole boot back on while making sure that the ball part of that piston fits into the cupped end on the inside. There's nothing to hold it in place. What holds it in place is the lever when you install it back again. So once you push that back in here, then you've got to line up the holes and push this bolt back in. But here's the tip. There is no way that you're going to get that hole to line up with this hole in the yoke without turning this adjuster screw. That adjuster screw has got to be backed off. In other words, kind of like bringing this in closer to the handlebar before you can get that hole to line up with the hole in the yoke. So be prepared to back this off so that this is more in like this, and then you can get that hole lined up good. You put it in, you tighten up the nut, and then you put the adjustment back to where you want it, where you feel comfortable. I've put this on the front jack stand just to make sure that it's not binding. It's just a little bit of rubbing there, but this is the first time I'm trying this on this bike. I've never had it on the front jack stand before, paddock stand before, so I don't know if that's normal, but I think it is based on my experience with my other bike. The travel, the free play in the lever is pretty much like it was before. So very firm feel. So we're gonna go on a test ride and see how this all works. But this is the shorty lever on the clutch side, and this is the long lever on the brake side. And you can see this also is inboard of this slider here. So it's a great matchup. And like I said, folding levers, so you know, in the event of a crash, you won't have any issues. Last thing before I wrap this up, this screw here and this nut, they come tightened pretty tight from the factory, so that they don't bend up. So all you've got to do is back it off just a slight bit, and you know, it's got some resistance to movement here right now, which is good. I don't want it kind of floppy. And the same thing with this side, it's got some resistance, so push it all the way down. That's where I'm going to be using it, and let's try it like that. So it should function much easier now in a crash.